We are going to make au gratin potatoes later, but to save time, Robert's just shredding the cheese real quick because I'm gonna need the kitchen all day. And so for our au gratin recipe, we need 1 pound of cheese. So he's doing a combination of what we had on hand, which is Swiss cheese, Parmesan cheese, this vintage cheddar I bought him for Christmas, and then some sharp cheddar. So all together, which is what, 2 cups? 2 cups of cheese, 1 pound.
1 pound.
For the au gratin potatoes, I'll be using dehydrated potatoes I made in June of 2022. If you've ever bought like a Betty Crocker store-bought mix of au gratin potatoes, this is what they look like when you pull it out of the box. So for this recipe, I'm gonna take 8 cups, generous 8 cups of these potato slices, and I'm gonna put them in water for about a half hour to rehydrate them. Here are the 8 cups of dehydrated potato slices. I will say this au gratin recipe takes like 3 hours if you count everything, because this is gonna soak for a half hour, and you mix all the ingredients together, and you bake it for 45 minutes, and then you put a topping on it, and then you bake it for another 45 minutes. So it is not an easy, quick dish, but it's an absolutely delicious dish. And I have a lot of these dehydrated potatoes, and I want to use them up. And I'll link that video down below when I dehydrated these. I would definitely do them again. And we've done this recipe before. We did it a couple of weeks ago. Even though these potato slices are from 2022, they're dehydrated perfectly, and the au gratin potatoes was like one of the best dishes I've had in a long time, potato-wise. So yeah, Herman, don't even think about it. I have some cookies cooling and he wants them. No. For the au gratin recipe, I am chopping up 1 small onion. So the onion had a soft spot in it, and I'm not throwing it away just because it had a soft spot. I just take the soft spot off. Now the rest of this onion is hard. Yes, it started to grow a stalk. I will just take out the middle and not include that. Some people would just throw this onion away saying it's bad, but it's not. It's firm. It's just got to that point where it started to grow another onion because I've had them too long, but I'm not gonna waste a good Vidalia onion. Basically, it's a little over a cup of chopped onion. You could add more, you could add less, just depending your personal preference on onions. I love onions. So this is the perfect amount for us. I know this video is a little bit disjointed because I am cooking the au gratin potatoes around a couple other food items I'm making. It is New Year's Eve here. I'll be posting this video after New Year's Eve, but we are having au gratin potatoes, crab legs, and I'm gonna also try to make copycat Red Lobster cheesy biscuits. I also made some cookies because I had some bananas going bad, so I made banana bread cookies and they turned out wonderful. I loved them. Here the potatoes have been soaking for a half hour. They're not fully rehydrated, but pretty darn close, good enough for this recipe. Robert is gonna start a roux for the cheese sauce. So a little over 1/4 cup flour and 4 tablespoons of butter to get the roux started. I'm gonna drain these, and Robert will be making the cheese sauce. How much milk are you using in your cheese sauce?
1 1/4 cup.
1 1/4 cup of milk. I did spray this pan with butter. This is just an 8x8 pan, and then just kind of line them up in rows like that, honey.
Yeah, just get a bunch in there and then try to line them up the best you can.
Okay.
You don't have, it doesn't have to be. They can be flat if they have to be.
Oh, you meant like sticking up like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it.
But it's fine.
I need both hands. Robert is warming up the milk because why, honey?
Because if you put cold milk with hot roux, you end up with little dough balls.
Okay.
You know, no dough balls.
No dough balls.
No dough balls.
Robert's got his roux going. We pulled out the cheese he shredded earlier. I lined these up as best as I could. Robert says it looks pretty good. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle the onions on top. Try to spread it out a little, and then the spices we use in this is only salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I'm gonna go measure that out real quick, and then he will add it to the melted cheese sauce before we pour it over. And I don't know if I mentioned, it's 375 degrees is what you want your oven temperature to be. There, I think it's spread out pretty good. You want your potatoes standing up so the cheese can get in between all the slices. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of pepper, and half a teaspoon of salt. He cooked the roux for 2 minutes, and now he is adding the milk slowly. Warmed milk slowly.
You get up with a very doughy consistency.
But it takes more than 2 minutes to do the roux. It was once you get your butter melted, then you add the flour, and then once it starts to brown, then you start counting your 2 minutes.
Gotta make sure you warm that milk though. That's very important.
All right, I'm gonna get your salt, pepper, and he added the cheese, getting it to melt. Here's your spices. You add that now, or you wait till it's more melted?
I'll let it melt a little.
And so this dish, we're gonna cook it 45 minutes covered in foil. And then after 45 minutes, we're gonna remove the foil and cook it for another 45 minutes. So yeah, it does need to cook for an hour and a half. And he's pouring it over the potatoes. This sauce is a little thicker than normal. It's probably the Swiss that we added. We did an assortment of 3 different cheeses.
It'll be fine.
But it will work. If your sauce is too thick, just add a little more milk until it thins to the consistency that you want. It tastes really good though, the sauce. It's been 45 minutes, so I'm gonna reach in and pull off the foil. Maybe. I gotta pull it out. Right now, I'll put it back in for another 45 minutes. I want the top to be golden brown. All right, we pulled these out of the oven after 15 minutes. We didn't do the full second 45 minutes because we did use dehydrated potatoes. So when I dehydrate them, I do, what do you call it when you dip it in boiling water for a little bit? I don't think it's called poach. Whatever. Process of dehydrating does cook the potatoes a little bit. So if you were using fresh potato slices, it would take the whole an hour and a half. That's all. We're gonna put foil on it. I'm gonna try it in a little bit because I need to make some biscuits real quick. Here are the au gratin potatoes. I did let them sit for about 10 minutes while we made cheddar biscuits. So I'm just gonna scoop a portion on each of our plates. It's still steaming hot even after sitting on top of the stove for 15 minutes. Cover that back up. Doesn't that look really good? Danny, that's my seat. You don't care. All right, it's New Year's Eve, so I'm gonna try the scalloped potatoes first, and these are the cheddar biscuits, and we have crab legs. Oh, and Robert's grabbing the butter for us. All right, we're gonna taste test the au gratin potatoes, which I know they're delicious. This is the second time making them. It's time consuming, but so worth it. So worth it. Much better than any of those Betty Crocker boxed kits. It goes perfectly with the crab legs and the homemade cheddar biscuits and the black crab. Did you try the potatoes yet?
Yeah, good.
They're good. Robert approved.
I like them.